Hi Rachel, I just wanted to give you feedback on your week 2 presentation 1 idea generation and research. So I've pulled up all your PDF files here in the one file, and I'm just going to talk to the screen while I comment on things that are going really well and just make some suggestions for how you can improve in other areas. So what I can see here, actually I'll just get the pencil tool up first so that I can mark things as I go. So what I really like about this page is that you're showing very clearly the audience that you're targeting, and you've depicted the context where the audience sort of frequent, and you've noted some aesthetics about that audience. So we're looking here at typefaces, and you've made a comment of that in your comments here, which is great. You've talked a bit about this image here, which is really good, and you've talked about the method really, that sort of collaged, photocopied and sort of slapdash kind of art style, where things have just been sort of thrown together and then scribbled over. So that was really good. I really thought that worked well with this page. And again, you're showing here the context, the environment that the audience sort of hang out in, and this is really good. We've got some more typography here, and these circles are interesting. They remind me of, those lights inside actors' dressing rooms, those bright lights, sort of highlighted, or it could even be a little bit the Moulin Rouge, or quite sort of vaudevillian, which is sort of interesting. And it's great, just before I move on, it's great that you've actually used your own photography here to record some of these images, and I'm sure you got a lot out of just going and visiting the area and doing that site visit and sort of taking it all in. I think that's obviously going to really help you to understand your audience. Now, looking at your idea generation, these are really great sketches, Rachel. They're really, really clear. I like that you've used the pen here. I like that you've added some colour, just sort of quickly, not too sort of much time spent on rendering, which is really important, because obviously the key here is to get those lots of ideas down quite quickly. So, if you were to show this to your client, they could easily see what some of your label ideas were. What I also like is that you're thinking a lot about using the design principles here. This is a very symmetrical layout. Here we've used a lot of ground in the white space here, just a little figure element being pushed to the foreground. I like that you've used cropping here with this flower, just to vary the layouts a little bit, even at this early stage. My only suggestion would be that your typography, you've made some effort here in this one, and also in this one, this one. But these other ones, they look handwritten, so you've got to really get into the habit of showing exactly what type style you're considering when it comes to your ideas. Now let's talk about the concept and the ideas that are being explored here. So, this is amazing. When I think about, how creative you've been here and how conceptual you've been, you've obviously stripped the whole label back to nothing, which reinforces the concept of naked, which is the label of your juice company. So this is a really strong idea, so it's going to be interesting to pull this one off, because obviously, because it is so stripped back, there's not going to be a lot of opportunity, I guess, for you to show the design elements and design principles. But I just wanted to commend you on such a strong idea, which I think is really good. These are nice too, where you're actually using the fruit and sort of making it look appealing, making it look edible, and actually showing it being eaten, which is great. Now this is interesting, the alien concept, which is quite curious how that relates. And just make sure that when you are writing your annotations, that you do things like talk about the concept here and how the client really wants you to convey that message and idea that relates to the term of naked. So add some of those. See, this is really nice too, this idea. Again, you're using, showing us typeface style, which is important. So they're really strong ideas, Rachel. I just wanted to remind you, I mean, you're going to get a really high result for this, but if you want to really get into the next level of, into the very high range, we just see a few more ideas that really explore that idea of naked. And as I was looking at this, I was thinking about, well, you know, how could you show that idea of peeling something back to its raw element? You know, you could even have some of the typeface perhaps being pulled away, some of it like a decorative font, external, you know, the skin that wraps the type around being peeled away and then just revealing a very simple font underneath. Something like that might be really good, or showing, you know, fruit being peeled, which should be another way of kind of indicating that, you know, all the extra ingredients that go into making juice, you know, are not there. It's just the raw elements. So maybe you need to do just a tiny bit more brainstorming to think about how you're going to convey that idea of rawness. So I was really delighted by these pages. I think your sketches, you know, are great. The size of your forms are spot on. You haven't gone too big. You know, the way you've rendered indicates the form, and I can clearly see what's going on with the shape of the form, and you've tried lots of different opening mechanisms for your bottle, which is really important. You've you know, focused on ergonomic concerns here about how the bottle is being held, and again here we can see that this is the area where the grip is when you're holding a bottle. We've thought about the actual delivery device and getting the spout into the mouth, which is important, and also the opening. Now, if this was like a Coke can, obviously the contents inside Coke are highly pressurised, which is why they need that really sort of, you know, that ring pull action to sort of open and trigger and release the pressure, which may not be as important for juice. So that's just something to think about and maybe write in your annotations. And it's great that you're thinking about juice boxes as well, other than just bottles. And, you know, what sort of material are you thinking here? I mean, I'm assuming it's plastic. Have you thought about recycled plastic? And if so, just write that down. You know, you can also get, and juice bottles have this, they have like more of an opaque finish rather than a translucent finish, so you can start writing some of those things in your comments about what you're thinking you might have for yours. And one thing I did want you to think about when you're drawing these shapes here, ellipses, is you just got to try and avoid having this sharp point on the end, because an ellipse is a very you know, smooth kind of football shape. And to get good at drawing ellipses, you just have to practice and draw them over and over again. And you can overlap lines, and I think for your idea sketches, like which these are, it's actually okay to have a really sketchy line like this. Just, you know, and it gives you practice as well, and it increases your confidence with drawing those. And try to make sure that the shape here of the ellipse matches the shape, or the curvature, I should say that actually, the curve line is matched on top to bottom. So you shouldn't really have a deep curve here and then a shallow curve at the top, because it just makes it a lot harder to read the drawing. So here's a good example. Just make sure that those curves on the lid match the curves on the bottom. Okay, I think that's it for now, Rachel, but look, it's really going well, and you've got a good result for this so far.